So today, basically, what I'm going to talk about is something that I think very important in any community and in general when we are talking about how we be happy, basically. The secret of happiness. And the secret of happiness has a lot to do with the concept of karma. And because the whole idea, if you take like Eastern spirituality, but also Western, I can just call it in another name, that whatever make us be happy or sad is the ultimate level. I'm not talking, there are many layers to it, but it's what karmic seeds ripening at a certain time. Life is like a set of frames, and in each moment we experience a frame from the past, and if it's nice frame, we'd be happy. If it's bad frame, not very nice, it'd be sad, or it could be neutral. But we also create a frame from the future. So in a way, we are the directors of our life, and we do have, in a sense, free choice, but it's not free choice that now I can make my life different. That can happen if you have already the right frames for it, you already have the right karmic seed for it, let's say. But so what we really have control of, it's less on what will happen in this moment, but how our future is going to be, because in this moment we have the option to choose from where we want to act. So this is basically the basic idea of karma, or action, that if you see your past, if you want to know how your past was, look on your life now. If you have pretty crappy life, it means usually you had done at least sometimes in your past, and we're talking from mystical idea, past lives as well, some negative karma. Some karma, and we understand what means negative karma in a second, that had within it the seed of apparent suffering. While if, for example, um, you have a happy life, then it means you did something good in the past, obviously. And as we see, life are very complicated, so we might have seeds of good and bad all the time mixed. And this is actually what is called the human condition. If we go to the Buddhist idea of samsara, the samsara has like 6 kind of parts. There's part which is people and everybody, all the mind stream in samsara are the same in the ways we all want to be happy. None of us want to have suffering. But we are in different conditions. So they say there are beings that are in hell, and hell is not some place. It's a mind state of intense suffering. It can be here in the mental hospital. It can be torturing in somewhere in, I don't know, Papua New Guinea. It can be anywhere. It can be some that consciousness. We all had at least moments of, quote, hell. And so then this is one level of ripening of karma. There is another level of ripening karma called hungry ghost in Buddhism, which is you're always striving for something, you always feel lacking. It doesn't matter what you get, it doesn't fill you. That's kind of another level of karma, which we also experience in life. You can see people who are always in this rat race all the time and never feel satisfied. It's a bit of this karma, and it's not so pleasant as well. And there is what we call animal karma, which is basically kind of nice, but it's kind of stupid at the same time. It's like you can't really progress from there. It's basically you live an existence which has fear usually. It sometimes has abuse. It has being hunted and be hunted, hunting and being hunted. It has this survival in it, but it can be also kind of blissful, like the cat taking a sun bath on the, I don't know, roof of the house or something. However, you can't really progress very far from there. That's called animal karma. Then you have human karma, and human karma, I will talk about it in a second, but the ultimate, and then you have higher karma, like it's called like demigods karma, gods karma, which are very happy and very powerful. You're a very powerful being, like a Thor and Zeus or whatever. But the problem is that even these karma are temporary. And you have this in life. You have this big politician, you have the fancy cars and have so much influence, and this kind of a demigod karma. And you have these gods, I don't know, beautiful surface dudes in Australia that have beauty and they don't have to work really. They can have fun all the time and have really good food and have, I don't know, whatever. So it's kind of a god karma, all constant pleasure. It's very temporary, obviously. So, but human karma is the karma in which there is kind of a mix between suffering and happiness, to certain balance that you both feel that this place is not so good as it is, but you have enough good karma to have resources to make a change in it. Like those above human levels, they never think too much about life because life is too much fun, or exciting, or I don't know, powerful. Those below, they're always really busy with their suffering and feeling victimized and under the suffering, or they basically don't have enough smartness to think about things. So in a way, they say that human rebirth is very special. This is called a special human rebirth. It's a very unique one in which you can make a difference and can make a big change in our like unconscious cycle of samsara, and that's kind of our big breakpoint in which you can really get somewhere. So what does it mean to get somewhere? To get somewhere means come to karma. Is basically planting the best seeds we can, and sometimes they say also burning the worst seeds we can burn and planting the best seeds we can plant. So and the idea obviously that we want, when you talk about burning negative karma, it's a big subject. I will just say a few words about it and then we not focus, but how you plant a good karma seed. What is the idea of planting good karmic seed? So the whole idea with it is very simple. Whatever you want in life, do it to others. If you want happiness, make others happy. If you want prosperity, abundance life, make people have abundance. If you want to have, I don't know, a lot of excitement in life, help other people have excitement. If you want healing, help other people to heal. If you want relationship, want love, help other people have relationship. Don't destroy other people's relationship. And there are other things in Tibetan text. There are all kinds of big, very specific correlation. What creates what? I don't know if I have time to go into it. But the idea is that it always works with emptiness. What does emptiness means here? Emptiness means that reality is a projection, reality is a dream, and reality is a movie. So actually this is a good thing. It's not just a determinist reality, like, I don't know, some kind of Descartes experience that you cannot do anything about it. There is this free choice idea, and it's all kind of a projection. And there's this idea of a person who holds, maybe I use this, it's not really what I try to say, but let's say I'm holding this and I ask people and dogs in the room, what do you see or what do you have? And I can read the minds of dogs just for the metaphor. Some of you heard about this metaphor. So you say, the human says is a flute here, while the dog says there's a chewing toy, something really nice to bite. And who is right? Usually none of them is right, because both of them are right in their own perspective, their own projection. So what happened if all the humans and all the dogs leave the room? What then this thing is? The answer is empty, because whatever give it meaning comes from our projection, our karma. If you have dog karma, you see a chewing toy. You have human karma, you see a flute. If you have other karma, I don't know what you're going to see here, because that's the idea. So because everything is a projection, you can see that happiness and suffering is also projection. A guy meet a girl, and a lot of good karma ripening for them. They are really in love, they have a lot of fun, they have a lot of goodness, they have a lot of happiness. But they don't replenish their karma, the good karma. So what happened? This good karma is burned out. They just leave it. So they eat the fruits of these good seeds that they planted before. And now they're just left with kind of shitty relationship karma. So after 2 years, it's instead of you are so amazing, you are so amazing, I want to give you all the love in the world, I want to give you all the love in the world. It's like, why didn't you put the toilet seat up? Why didn't you put the toilet seat down? Why didn't you take the garbage down? Why did you take the garbage up? And so on. So it becomes something like that. And then they say to each other, you changed so much. And they didn't change so much. Next week, she will fall in love with another guy and the whole magic will come again, or whatever. They didn't change. What changes the karmic projection. The change. The karmic seeds, the bank of karma, of good karma, was kind of got to minus. So basically happiness from the karma standpoint is becoming a karmic millionaire. And a lot of people go to this what's called the secret, how to create abundance, how to create anything in life, and they think that will save them. And a bit, it's just about a bit like a person having I don't know, the deficit in the bank, and he's going to get a loan. So you loan another set of good karma, but then you are missing even more good karma. Instead of letting you have become a karmic millionaire. So a karmic millionaire is a person who has a very, very, very good karma, and he's forced to project a very happy reality all the time. That's the idea. Like the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa or these people, they sometimes took pictures of all these very, very famous good people, and they took pictures of very famous, very rich and powerful, but very selfish people. And they asked people who doesn't know them, like I don't know from where, who look more happy, and it was very clear who is more happy. Because when you have the good karmic seeds, you will force to project a good reality. And if you don't have it, because you are very selfish, doesn't matter how much money that at the time you have, you'll project a bad reality because you see outside what you are inside in many ways. So then when you understand that actually the key for happiness from a spiritual standpoint is karma. The question is how to create the best karma. How do I create the best karma possible? So it will ripen very fast and it will be very strong. And they will say, so the masters of all tradition, I can quote from many different traditions, it's everywhere. They will say something very interesting. They will say, it's the mind state. And if somebody go to a Gwenka retreat, Vipassana retreat, he'll give this story usually about these two people who go to this, a person who goes to the road and some persons draw a knife and he tell him, whatever, there is a knife, and he tell him, give him your money, and the person doesn't want to, and that he killed the other person. The other person is dead, and the question is, what? He cut his throat and the other person is dead. So the question, did the person who cut the throat did good or bad karma? And the answer will be very different. It may be a robber who tried to rob the other person and kill it because he didn't want to be, he tried to resist. And that's a huge bad karma. But it can be a doctor. That guy has something stuck in his throat. He gave him money, please help me. He tried to save him, but it didn't work and the person died. Then he has a karma of trying to save life. So it's not really what you did with the physical body, it's your intention that's really important. So this is why in most spiritual practices, the most important thing is the intention. And obviously the intention, if I kind of neglectful, I'm saying, oh, my intention is good, but I've been neglectful, I'm just doing a lot of things like out of kind of ignorance, that's actually negative intention, because being skillful is part of a good intention. It's not enough just to have, I just want to do good, so I do whatever I want and it's good. No, it's being skillful in doing what needs to be done is part of having this good karma. And so good karma to be made in general has to have a few, elements. And I will say them now and then I'll go into the ultimate way of making good karma. So the first element of good karma is basically intention. I wake up in the morning, I want to have more abundance. So I say I give $1 to a beggar today. So I can just say it and take money, and when I see this beggar I can complain, oh, I'm hurry, what is this beggar doing in the street? Throw him the money and then go like this and make a bad face kind of thing. Another, why don't you go work? That can be another one way. And then the karma, good karma you create is very minimal. But you can wake up in the morning and think, oh, there's somebody need my money today. And you prepare the money. Preparing to give money is already good karmic seed because it's already the mind. And then I'm going actively searching for somebody to give money. It's already very good karmic seed because searching to do a good deed is already a good deed because this is our recorder in the mind works. And then I'm seeing a beggar, I'm happy. Wow! There is a beggar. I look to him in the eyes and I make him feel like he's loved, he's accepted, he's whatever. And I give him the $1. That's already very strong good karma because I also will have the seeds of making somebody happy, the seed of encouraging somebody, the seed of loving somebody, the seed of humbleness and looking somebody who look inferior in the eyes and feeling the same. I have a lot of good karmic seeds from this, and I'm doing the giving. And then when I walk away, I can be happy, rejoicing in a good karma, that you make. Also create much stronger karma, and it's a good karma. And eventually, I can dedicate it. What does it mean, dedicated? Dedicated. I can say before I go to sleep, I can remember what I did, and I say, wow, by the good deeds I did of planting the karma of generosity, everybody will be generous, for example. That's make the karma much, much stronger. And the stronger the karma, the more fast it will ripen in general. So it will make me experience abundance in this case much faster. And now everybody will ask, but isn't it selfish, right? I'm doing it for myself, not for other people, so why you think it's a good deed? So the answer is that you have to start where you are. If where you are is, I don't know, a holy angel, obviously it's going down. But if you are like a normal, sorry for my French, selfish bastard, who mostly going through life thinking about whatever you're going to go, what good feeling you're going to get somewhere in life, which is most of us, I guess, then doing the good thing, even if it has some interest, is already a very good habit to create. The Dalai Lama, for example, said be selfish, but in an intelligent way, which means at least be selfish in a way which make you into become selfless. So I'm creating the habit of giving, even though I think it's for myself, creating the habit of giving. But when I do the action of giving, there is this magic. And the magic in giving, that now I give a little bit of like Jewish Kabbalah idea, but it's again, it appears in all tradition in some ways. They said that God is just this energy of giving, of love and giving, because who can you receive from? Right? He is perfect, so who can you receive from in this aspect? And this is also our perfect, if we be Buddhist, our the nature of the mind, the pure essence of what we are is all love, and it's all just generosity and all of this, and so on. And in every tradition, it will have some relevance like this. So once I kind of imitate God, once it's called having the same shape as the divine, I'm creating connection, even though it's kind of not from the best reason, but I'm creating this connection, and then I start receiving something which is called grace. What is grace? If there is a joy when I eat something tasty, there is a grace that comes when I, or bliss sometimes, also can way spiritual bliss that comes when I give the something tasty to somebody else. This is coming because I kind of choosing to be a giver rather than a taker, and then this put me in alignment with the divine. And only when I do it in a real way. I mean, if I choose to be a giver just to manipulate somebody, it obviously doesn't put me in a good way. But if I really want to give to the other person, and even though I think it will give me good karma, it put me in some kind of alignment with the divine, and then I get this connection, and this connection is always blissful. And then slowly, as I'm doing more good things, I get more of this bliss. I want to do it more. I learn to do it more. And there is a moment in which I'll be mature enough, and I will just want it to do it because this is the right thing to do. Not because I'm going to get good karma back, because this is the right thing, to be in alignment with the divine, with alignment with the sphere of giving, to be a giver, because that's kind of from a general perspective, the perspective of consciousness which is not divided into little parts, that's the right thing to do. The small part have to serve the big part, not the big part serve the small part. And then I become, actually, that's very, very interesting, even in psychology, Maslow hierarchy of need. They always talk about the 5 steps in these needs, and the 5th is self-realization or self-fulfillment. But Maslow spent another 20 years of his life being the 6 and 7 levels in Maslow hierarchy of need, and that's actually about surrender and giving, actually. So the ultimate is that I give to something greater than myself, and in this I actually reach much deeper level of freedom. So the way actually is that to do it, called in the Eastern tradition karma yoga, the yoga of creating good karma, if you want. That sometimes is also called the karma of grace, or the karma of serving God, the karma of service. But karma yoga actually has an amazing psychological relevance. It is actually a proven way to go out of depression, and it makes a lot of sense from a psychological standpoint. So just for a second, I will explain what is karma yoga from traditional standing of yoga. Karma yoga, or the yoga of action, is basically a way to reach enlightenment. It's a way to go into divine spiritual liberation, whatever that means. I can't get into it now, but if in normal words, to get to the ultimate happiness. And because in old kind of Indian, for example, mysticism, the way to reach into happiness is being recluse, being a monk, being a sadhu, being some kind of a yogi who go out of society and do a lot of meditation, a lot of these practices, make his kundalini rise, something like this, which is very difficult and you have to dedicate your whole life to it. And it's also kind of not very beneficial for the society in some ways, because you just leave the society and in a way you never return. So that was the way people thought about what it means to be happy in the old Vedic and obviously Buddhist traditions. And then come the idea of karma yoga. Karma yoga is the idea that actually by serving the world, you can reach the same level as a yogi in the forest reached, and even more. And maybe I'll explain this origin, because it's a very beautiful story. A story can make a very good example. So Karma Yoga is exponent in the most dramatic way by the story of a huge battlefield between the two ruling families, or it's one family which was split into two, a ruling family in India, very long time ago, about 3,500 years ago, actually just about the time of the Torah of the Bible. And in these stories, there were these two armies. In one, there were 5 brothers, which were very saintly, very good people, and the other one, there was their really corrupted nephew, but also the gurus of this brother, like the teachers of this brother, the king, the old king, and a lot of good people as well. But that prince that was really corrupted managed to draw all of them into war, into very unjust war. And the brothers, they decided that they have to fight because of a reason I will explain soon. And so there is this huge armies standing, preparing to battle. And even in the text, they explain different warriors and weapons that they had. A very big kind of event. And a lot of people come to watch, a lot of spectators. And between these two armies, there is this chariot that's supposed to start the battle. In this chariot, there is one of the 5 holy brothers, this guy who is called Arjuna. He's the main warrior, he's a very good warrior. And his charioteer, the one who manages chariot, but he's kind of out of the fighting, is nothing less and nothing more than Krishna, which is considered an avatar. God himself taking a body, appearing in this world, manifesting in this world to teach humanity something, to take humanity to the next level, in a way. So Krishna is there, and he's like the charioteer of Arjuna, famous name. And then, as Arjuna look at the battle that is about to start, he say to Krishna, "Listen, it's crazy to fight here. What do you mean? Why should we fight? Everybody gonna die. It's gonna be a whole massacre. Nothing good gonna come out of here. What the point in this? Let's run away. Let's cancel the fight. Let's go, me and my brother, back to the jungle." And Krishna, which usually is the god of love, he's playing flute, he's having lovers. He's not like a stern, wrathful god who is really care about what you do, whatever, and he's punishing all the time. He's definitely not that kind of god. It's a very loving and beautiful God. He is actually convincing Arjuna nothing less than to fight. And why does he tell him fight? What can be a motive of a peaceful God who creates this world in a way, and who is and each being in this world is so precious to him? It's like he's a masterpiece of his creation, to tell him to fight. And the idea is very interesting and very simple. He say, it's not up to you to choose what is good and what is bad in these aspects. You have a role. In this case, he was from the Kashtarya sect, which is the Kashtarya sect is a sect or caste in India which has to do with fighting for goodness. So the other people, they have done something which is very bad and immoral. They are very bad in this respect, and your role is to fight injustice. So that's the divine role. And so the only thing you can really do here is to do what is your role, your cosmic role, and be detached from the results. And the way you should do it is by dedicating it on to me. Don't take responsibility on your action in the form of I'm the doer. Understand that you are just a channel of the divine work through you, and you are doing the service to the divine. And if you do it and you be detached from the result, everything is going to go eventually hunky-dory. You will see eventually the big picture and see that it's always actually a good thing. And there is this big battle, and I will not go into it so much, but they really learn how to do it, and these 5 brothers reach, in a way, spiritual realization, and the world become better eventually, in a way. And ultimately, this is just a metaphor. It's not about real battlefield. Don't go now, oh, God told me, like a lot of fundamental. God told me to go into a battle now because I want to serve, I don't know, to bring the jihad, like the holy war kind of thing. It's not the idea. India was a very peaceful place. Even this war was probably allegoric, not a physical thing. The idea is the war within our spirit, between our ego, our mental afflictions, our selfish desires, all these things, into the soul, into the top part of us that want to make something good out of the world and out of our spirit. And when we are very sincere in it, the divine will help us. That's a very important precept in it. And that's actually the idea in Karma Yoga. In Karma Yoga, I want to do something. It doesn't matter what I do, but the idea is that I'm serving a noble goal. Today, nobody knows caste. It's not, and even the caste, you can talk about them. They were not meant the way a lot of Indians interpret them today. But the idea is that every person in life has general idea of doing good things. I can always take care of when I'm going to the hall, especially when you live in a community. I go into the, I don't know, dining hall, and there are a lot of people. I can always sit next to the most popular person, the ones I really want to talk with, or I can see who is the most lonely in the room, and I can go to him and make him happier, for example. So there is a lot of, in every moment I have a karma yoga option. It's not just, oh, I don't know, I'm planting trees or something. It's in every moment there is an option for karma yoga. And it's about actually thinking, starting with the intention, as I say, what is the best thing I can do now? And how can I do it without bloating my ego? I'm so good, I'm so special. I'm not so good, I'm not so special, because I'm basically doing as a dedication for divine and just a humble channel for something to happen. And I'm grateful because I'm actually getting, and now I'm talking about the psychological aspect of karma yoga, why this is the real key for happiness. You can quote me on this. I mean, that's I'm willing to sign anybody a kind of a promise that if you do it, you'll be happier. So it's a big statement, and I'm willing to stand by it. And I will explain why, even psychologically, is the secret of happiness. So the idea that in every moment almost I have this option. How can I serve the divine in this moment? And if I'm very much in listen, or how I can serve the goodness. Some people don't think God as something very like some Zeus with a hat. I don't know, they got all kind of weird idea about spirituality. And they think that even all this system is just a manipulative way of some elite to control people. So I'm not talking about that type of God. I'm talking about this principle of goodness, of beauty, of wisdom, of if you want, pure consciousness, of enlightenment, of love. And everybody can think what is for him in the top of the pyramid of existence, and he can serve that. Basically, it can be, I don't know, the rational mind. If you were in the Victorian era, that was the top. And that even that can work. This enlightenment movement, I'm serving pure reason rather than my ego or my impulse. Even that can work to some level. But if I were you, I would suggest to go deeper, higher, in a way. So, why is karma yoga, and how is it the secret for happiness? What do I talk about? Why does cleaning the toilet in some ashram is better than, I don't know, watching Netflix all day? Why, I don't know, fulfilling my true calling in life, something that I have longing to do and kind of a deep calling in my hero journey, is better than being a high-tech engineer and having a $15,000 a month salary. What is the point in all of this? So there are two levels. One level is basically how can I serve in general everybody, and you can do good things all the time. How can I cultivate this good? How can I become from pleasure seeker, which a person who look all day just looking for more pleasure, whatever, in phone call, in TV, in whatever, to a planting karmic seed seeker. Person who look all day, how can I plant good karmic seeds? So obviously it's wisdom. It's about understanding that this is the seeds. It's what makes me happy or not. And the most powerful seed is the seeds of serving God or serving all beings. That's kind of the idea. Serving the full of reality. Because if I'm just giving some food to a cat, it's not the same as giving some food to a man. It's not as feeding the whole humanity or the whole cosmos. And if I'm serving God, which it's like the idea of everybody, everything in existence, then I'm doing the best karmic thing. Like I give food to a cat, but from the standpoint of I'm a channel for God. In a way, it's like I fed all the cats and all the dogs and all the humans in the world in that moment. So it's a very, very strong karma there. It's multiplying my good karma in a way. And why psychologically is this so good? So it's so good psychologically because basically all the negative mind states that we have two things in common. And I'm not going now into all these psychiatry things. It's very simple. They all have to do with having very contracted consciousness, like victim consciousness. I'm very offended. I'm depressed. I'm angry. I'm. Something is bad happened to me. So it's very much about me. All this negative mindset, depression. Oh, I'm nothing. But I'm so focused in my nothingness, I can't see anything beyond me and my nothingness. And how much of a victim I am in this cruel, cruel world, goodbye, cruel world I'm living in today, kind of Pink Floyd idea. So it's always focused on myself, all these negative mind states. And the other thing that I'm feeling meaningless, that I can't give anything to anybody, I'm nothing. So karma, good karma yoga has this attitude which has to do with both doing something for others, and sometimes it's also me, I'm also the other. It's not about being cruel to yourself. You don't want to fall into I'm sadomaso kind of thing. I'm giving everything to everybody, but I'm torturing myself. That's actually not a good karma yoga. That actually karma yoga will explode as sadism eventually. It will never last for long. I'm part of all beings, so when I'm serve all being, I'm a part of it, and I have to be considered too to some levels, obviously. And the other thing is that the best karma I can do is this thing which I'm kind of supposed to do. I believe in it, that everybody have a mission in this world, and divine mission, that sometimes God or whatever, a soul had a contract to fulfill in this world, to make this world a better place, to make this world closer to heaven in a way, like there is on earth, like there be in heaven, so there be on earth. We have like a little part of the puzzle of reality to solve or to connect back into the oneness. And when we are doing this, then the karma we create is really big. Then we really feel fulfilled. Then it's like following our bliss. Then it's following our hero journey in a way. Then we feel realized, and it's not so easy sometimes to find it, because the world doesn't really want us to find a superpower. We also have a superpower that was given to us by God or by the universe to manifest this special thing, have a magic. But it's not so easy, because usually the world, like Pink Floyd again, what all in all you just made, another brick in the wall. It's very easy to the world, to the society, to the powers there are, to have bricks in the wall and keep this ego status quo of really sad reality to most people. And they don't like specialized, they don't like superheroes. And following your true calling and your true service, which is unique to you, God doesn't create anything twice. If you see nature, there is no two leaves that look the same. Nothing look the same. So we are also don't look the same, and we don't have the same mission, the same goal. Each one of us has something which is general, and everybody have to do. Everybody have to help other people. I don't know, help old women to cross the road. That's something general to everybody. But everybody have also something very unique and special only for you, that comes to be brought to the world. And this is what is called the hero journey call, the call for adventure, the call to find this special thing and to bring it out into the world, to live, to manifest this divine part of us, which is unique. And that's actually a very important task in our karma yoga. I can say, I'm a high-tech engineer, I'm a very good person, I donate a lot of money. But if your call is to be, I don't know, a lawyer, or to be a healer, or to be something you're still doing the wrong thing in a way, you will usually feel not so good, and you feel you're missing something, and that's not enough. You have to have the courage also to live the right life. Not just a good life, but also the right life that we suppose, in which we bring our really true unique part of the story into this reality. So karma yoga is a lot about letting God lead you to this goal, and being really in a place of service. And then it's amazing, because what happens when you do real karma yoga? First, you're already time busy with other people and something greater than yourself. So all these negative mind states, they can't hold into you. Second, you feel you're doing something meaningful, because you support something greater, something sometimes eternal, sometimes something that affects a lot of people. So that's giving you this feeling of meaning. And just to give you something to hold about in the psychological level, I give you two stories that really kind of really show it. Very unspiritual stories are very much story from the field of psychology. There was a famous therapist, maybe the best therapist who ever lived, I might say, Milton Erickson. On him, modern hypnosis is based, NLP is based, a lot of things. It's very, very special therapist. And he was invited to this really old rich woman who was very, very depressed. And he go in a room in her house, which was very big. She was very nice to him. And her friend who brought him say, can you help her somewhere? And as he come to leave, because they expect him to do some magic, like some hypnotherapy and some crazy thing, and he didn't do anything, just told him, listen, I saw that she has this warm house with flowers. Every day when there is a fuel, she has to open the paper. When she see any fuel, or when she see any birth in the town, she has to send flowers with a letter. I'm happy in your happiness, or I'm sharing in your sorrow. I'm sorry with you, and something like this. I wish your pain will be elevated, something like that. And 10 years later, she was known as the happy lady, and to her fuel came about 10,000 people.